Hello, I'm Vicki Davis. I'm a teacher and IT director at Westwood Schools in Camilla, Georgia, and I'm so excited to tell you some of the things that I'm passionate about today. Part of what I teach in my technology courses is actually writing, because we're required to write across the curriculum. And transliteracy is kind of a new term that a lot of people are talking about. So not only can students write, but can they include the correct captions? And for example, captions under photos are read 300% more than the text itself. So do students know how to write in these ways? And one of my passions is reinventing writing and how it's been reinvented. And it's kind of, so I've got a book out, but it's also related to the work I've done with global collaboration and connecting students. So for example, we've reinvented pre-writing. Do you know how to do mind maps and that sort of thing? We've reinvented note cards with social bookmarking. We've reinvented how the word processor works, because we can collaborate and work together, and we need our students to be commenting on each other's work, but then also as teachers, we should be giving our students feedback using our voice and not just text, because if you think about it, the students who are weak in writing are also probably going to be weaker in reading, and they want to hear our voices and they want to connect to us and feel that emotion. So there's so many things about how writing is being reinvented, but one of the most important things is that we can connect. The research has shown, and I quote this in my book if you want to see the actual studies, that students with audience will write in more meaningful ways. And if you think about it, the wastebasket work that that students are used to, which is I'm just writing for the teacher, and when they're done, it's just going to be thrown away. They're not even given the opportunity to write for portfolios. They're not going to write as well as if they have an audience and they have a digital portfolio. So I believe a student without a blog is a student without a voice. They should be given the opportunity to, first of all, write for each other. You don't have to do it publicly. But I think by the time the students are out there and in high school, before they graduate and get out into the real world, they should be writing publicly. They should know how to hyperlink. Do they know how to select graphics? Do they know how to create infographics? These are all parts of both reinventing writing, but then something else that's very important called global competency. And global competency means that students can understand different cultures, they can understand cultural disconnects when they happen, they can be able to relate to people no matter where they are. And that's an important part of my curriculum at the school. Since 2006, I've been collaborating globally, first of all, on projects like Flat Classroom and Digiteen and NetGenEd and Horizon. This year, I did 2 different ones, Physics of the Future and one called Gamified. That was actually an intergenerational learning experience, which is kind of one of my new things that I'm really experimenting with, where my 9th graders actually worked with master students at the University of Alaska Southeast to explore serious games. And there was a rubric, and the students had part of it and the teachers had part of it. And we basically debunked that the gaming stores, or the stores where you look in the app store, and I'm not going to name companies, but when you look in an app store and it says these are the best educational games, that is not accurate, because those games are either good because maybe they're entertaining or the company made a lot of money off of them, but they're not necessarily the best educational games that are out. And you can look at that wiki at gamify-ed.wikispaces.com. But audience is important, connecting with other classrooms is important, transliteracy, these are things that are important. But I want to kind of leave you with, how can I get started, or what can I do? And the principle that changed my life in 2005, I'm now entering my 13th year of teaching. In my first few years, I went to all these conferences, and back then we didn't watch videos as much, but I did all of these things, and I was exposed to all of these great ideas, but I didn't really change anything. And that was because I'd come back from conferences with a list of 50 to 100 things to do. And as Bob knows, who's filming this, as a teacher, it just doesn't work. You have a classroom to go forward, and you have to really have a plan. So I do something called my Big 3. I always have my next 3 things I want to do. And I innovate like a turtle, as I talk about in the last chapter of my book. If you think about a turtle kind of has a hard time moving around, but they'll get there because they keep moving forward. And that's the secret. I have my 3 things. I take 15 minutes twice a week to explore those things and to test them out. And then I'll try to bring a few new things to my classroom every week, whether it's a new connection and connecting across the world, whether it's a new form of writing and helping teach them to collaborate or create video or podcast, whatever it is. But I always have the next 3 things. So that's the one transformational thing I'll encourage all of you to do, is what are your next 3 things? At the end of this video, I hope you'll stop it. I hope you'll write down your next 3 things. If you want to tweet those to me at Cool Cat Teacher, that would be great. I'm always fascinated to see what teachers want to do next. We're filming this at ISTE, and one of my next things is to create a really incredible makerspace in my classroom. And I found out, for example, it's not only 3D printers, it's also vinyl cutters and laser cutters and all these other things that are so exciting. So I encourage you on your journey to build your PLN, to connect on Twitter and all these other places, to look at how writing has been reinvented. That's a particularly important thing that every single school should do. If you're just doing essay, that's not enough. If you're just using paper, you're missing out on audience because it's about the student, it's about reaching every single student. And good luck on your professional learning journey.